Thank you, Shripad Aurobindo Society and Vijayji, Sabranji, Nitin for giving us this opportunity to come and speak in front of this audience. Thank you very much also for partnering with us as your angel partner for this society. So I'll just go back, and I had only 5 years of being in the education world when I was in IIT Bombay, and we had a professor, Professor Phatak. In fact, he was awarded Padma Shri. So he said, what is the problem with the Indian education system is that in our country, and there's nothing religious about this, is that Saraswati does not talk to Lakshmi, and all the problems of education come from there, because in the education world we are very much divorced from the outside world, and whether it's an educational institution or an organization, or even some of the entrepreneurs are not connected to the commercial side of things. And it's amazing that you are working exactly in that space, and that is also the space which some of the universities are trying to solve by setting up incubators, and I was running that incubator. So that's how the journey started, as looking at startups, because all of them are solving a problem of society. That's the first part. And as time goes by, you can see these tiny companies can one day become very large companies and make a huge impact to society, to themselves, and so on and so forth. So this journey, which about the startup sector, is just to be more aware of what startups can do for you. So I'm here talking about startups and startup investing. So today, the entire world is going through disruption. Large companies are scurrying around, and small companies can suddenly become very large companies in a matter of years. And these are examples of that. All the companies that you see here are not very old, and all of them are leaders in their spheres of influence. And what is interesting about India is, coming back, is that India, somebody said problem and opportunity. There are so many problems in India, and those are actually opportunities for very large companies to be built, solving those problems. And you can see, education is one of the large problems of India, and you have number of people talked about this company. So in India, you don't have to be the leader in a particular space. There can be 5 companies or even 10 companies as large as Byju's operating in India. So those of you are doing startups, you can all aim to be very, very large companies in this sort of august company. And this is more about now, because these little companies are growing very big at a in a very short span of time, they are creating a lot of value for the investors. Not only are they making a great impact to society by solving a problem, but they're also creating a huge opportunity for wealth creation for themselves, for their team members, as well as investors who invest in them at a very early stage. You would probably know the sort of returns people who invested in Uber or WeWork will be making when these companies go public. And now, increasingly, whether it is top investors like Warren Buffett, and this morning we had somebody, earlier in the day we had somebody from Paytm. Warren Buffett has invested in a startup called Paytm. We may not consider it to be, but Warren Buffett typically invests in companies which are 50 years old, and here he is investing in early stage companies. And that is why, as we go by, and as the stock markets and the real estate markets become more volatile, people are looking at startup investing as an alternative asset class. So the question is, how do you invest in them? And how do you raise money? Some of you who presented here today, it's not easy. Each time you grow from You raise a friends and family round, then you raise an angel round, then you raise a VC round, and so on and so forth. Each time you have to discover a new entity which is going to support you. Likewise, for an angel investor, you have to sift through, Lead Angels, for example, receives 2,000 companies every year, and out of which we invest in 10 companies. So you have to shift through lots of companies. There are complicated legal structures that you need to take care of in India, evaluate them, and so on and so forth. So trying to solve these two problems, right? So of course, as founders of Lead Angels, we saw an opportunity here to create a solution which can solve the problem both for the entrepreneur as well as the investor. And this is what we look at from a startup perspective, that we talked about some of the things that you saw earlier in the presentation. These are the three things that we look for in an startup. And that is why, as I was saying, that we try to get at every stage in the growth of a startup, right from setting it up as incorporating a company, to raising its first round of capital from an angel network, and the next round of getting VC or money. Lead Angels is there to support you at every stage of your growth. And from an investor perspective, how it helps is because you get a view of so many angel investors looking at your company, looking at a company, so you can make better investment decisions, and you can watch a company through its entire life cycle as you invest in them. These are some of the companies that we have invested into. Just to give you an example, company called Shop Kirana, we put in our angel round in the company. The company then raised Series A, again with our support, and now some of you may have read, it has recently raised a Series B investment. Likewise, a company like Super Daily, we invested in the company and then we helped them to get acquired by Swiggy. Some of you may have read in the news. These are some of the companies that we have invested. We also have an edtech company in our portfolio. It's called Carvnish. A little bit about our team. So most of them are young engineers who do the evaluation, and the rest of us help them to do the work. This is my email ID.